We are back with our video for today, and this video is very insightful, very tactical, as we explore, did the wheels fall off for Chelsea after the injury to Wesley Fofana? Because I've actually scrutinized Chelsea's statistics. I've looked at Chelsea's the number of goals they conceded, the number of chances they conceded, and I've also looked at the intensity of Chelsea's press when they lost the ball, and I'm seeing something different. The last game that Chelsea actually controlled from start to finish was a game that Wesley Fofana actually played. And I'm not saying that when Wesley Fofana was playing he was like the Virgil van Dijk at Chelsea, but there's something that Wesley Fofana gave to Chelsea, and that something is something that we have lost, and it has affected Chelsea in possession, and it has affected Chelsea when Chelsea are actually looking to try and stop the opponent from creating chances. Now, when you look at this chart here, the first thing that you notice, especially towards the bottom left corner, you can see Chelsea in that position, the only solo team. It's a team that has low intensity in possession, low intensity without possession. But look at Manchester City on the other side. It has high intensity without possession and low intensity with possession. And Chelsea are playing with a low intensity so that they can be able to control the game. But they are lacking one key aspect, and that is high intensity in out of possession and low intensity in possession. Now, the last game that Chelsea controlled effectively was the 3-0 victory over Aston Villa. I think, in my opinion, that was the best performance for Chelsea this season. The partnership between Wesley Fofana and Levi Colwill bloomed, and we saw radical shift for the way Chelsea actually played this game. So, there's one thing about Wesley Fofana that I want to talk about. And we are also going to look at the fixtures when Fofana was there and when he was not there. Now, when you look at the fixtures where Fofana was there, you can see that Chelsea only lost 4 games. Chelsea lost 4 games, Chelsea drew 4 games. And all the other 32 games Chelsea won. Meaning that Chelsea had a high win ratio whenever Wesley Fofana played, and that's why Chelsea found themselves second in the league. But even after Fofana stopped playing, we started to see how teams identified Chelsea's low intensity football. Now, there's something that Fofana gave Chelsea when Chelsea had the ball, when Chelsea were building up, and when Chelsea were actually looking to try and control the game. But when Wesley Fofana left got injured, we are seeing that number changing. Chelsea actually lost 3 games, they drew 3 games, and they only just won 8 games in this period, meaning that their win ratio overall dropped. But looking at the 2 games, Southampton and Tottenham, in which Chelsea won, Southampton were very poor and Tottenham actually scored 3 goals. Now, when you look at these statistics, there's one thing I want you to focus on, and that is the progressive passes and progressive carries and the successful take-ons. Now, this gives you a clue of what Fofana was giving Chelsea with the ball. But you can also look at what we call the tackles and the clearances at the bottom of the chart, and you can see that Wesley Fofana is actually topping that list when you compare it to other Chelsea's centre backs. Now let's look at Colwill. When you look at Colwill, you can see the clearances is actually at the red position, meaning that he's not the player who actually likes to run back and clear. But when you look at the progressive passes and the accurate passes, you can see that Colwill was playing more of a deep lying centre back, kind of libero kind of centre back under Enzo Maresca. But when Wesley Fofana did not play, he was now shifted to play as a wide centre back, and that's why we have seen Colwill underperforming. The same thing we saw under Mauricio Pochettino. So the balance that came by having Fofana and Colwill playing in the same team gave Chelsea that stability, because they had an athletic centre back and a more passive, progressive centre back in Levi Colwill, and that's why Enzo Maresca settled in that partnership. Now, Maresca has tried to introduce Tosin, Trevor Chalobah and Benoit Badiashile. In fact, he tried to play Benoit, and in the game against Tottenham, we saw how Benoit was unable to play in that Wesley Fofana position. Tosin Adarabioyo coming in can play in that Colwill position, but this will force Colwill to play down the left, and Tosin is also not quite a player who likes to recover. The Manchester City game, especially the Chelsea's highlight, further emphasizes to us how Wesley Fofana was so important for Chelsea when it came to actually covering those spaces in behind when Chelsea decided to play with an aggressive line. Something that we have seen Trevor Chalobah and Levi Colwill are unable to do. Before we start this analysis, you know what you're supposed to do. Subscribe, share, and like this video. Now, looking at the build-up shape, we notice that Chelsea were building in quite a unique fashion. Chelsea were looking to try and draw opponents deeper to press them, and Wesley Fofana was very key in the way Chelsea looked to build up. Now, because Chelsea wanted to create numerical overloads in midfield, we started to see Fofana being used in a very untraditional way. Now, because Chelsea were not looking to actually create that numerical, because Fofana was able to play as more of an orthodox right back, Chelsea would push both Fernandes and Palmer to occupy the half space, and when Caicedo would start at that right back position, he would invert into that midfield together with Lavia. Again, I'm going to do a video of why Lavia also missing has created a lot of problems for Chelsea. Now, when that happened, Fofana would play as a pseudo right back, allowing Robert Sanchez to step out and play as a right centre back, with Lavia dropping deeper, being the more press resistant pivot, together with Caicedo ready to receive the ball either from Colwill or Sanchez. And when Fofana received this ball in this position, Fofana was very instrumental for Chelsea. Fofana ranks as the centre back with the most progressive carries, meaning that even if all his passing options were closed, Fofana is that centre back who would you expect to carry the ball forward. And I want to show you here. Here, Lavia has the ball. You can see the position of Sanchez, you can see the position of Colwill. You cannot see the position of Fofana because he's actually playing as a wide right back. You can see the position that Cucurella has picked in this position. He's actually playing really wide. And Chelsea can play through that box because Lavia is very intelligent to understand that there is no passing options playing back. And once he notices this, he understands that Fofana is hugging the touchline. You cannot even see Fofana where he is because Fofana is giving Chelsea that width, making Aston Villa not to commit players. Now, you can see the position that Fofana is occupying. Fofana is actually playing more like a right back. And him occupying this position is making Aston Villa not to commit their winger to press. And that's why Chelsea can be able to build with that box of Sanchez and Caicedo. Again, here Chelsea are looking to build from the back. Look at the position that Fofana is picking. Look at the position that Colwill is picking. Now, Fofana is playing in that right-sided centre-back role. And now Chelsea have that box midfield because now even Fernandes knows that he has been covered with the athleticness of both Lavia and Caicedo. And he's able to play the ball to Sancho and look to join the attack. Now, Jackson is occupying the two centre-backs. And you can see here again that the position that Fofana occupies is giving Chelsea that numerical advantage. And because he's able to receive the ball and carry the ball forward, he's able to play the ball either to Palmer or to Noni Madueke or to Neto, whoever is playing down the right, giving them that numerical advantage. This can allow either Palmer to play the ball for the runs of Jackson or look to carry the ball forward. But what about when Chelsea have settled possession? Now, when Chelsea have settled possession, we have also seen one key importance of Wesley Fofana. He allows Colwill to play in his preferred position, that is the central centre-back position. And when Colwill plays in this position, Fofana, being a player who likes to carry the ball, he's a centre-back who likes to carry the ball forward, helps Chelsea create overloads, especially down the right. And that's why recently we've been seeing Neto dropping deep to come for the ball. But if Fofana would be playing, he would be bringing the ball to Neto or Madueke, allowing them to create that numerical advantage. Now look at this instance here. Colwill is playing together with Chalobah and Cucurella at the back. But if Colwill will be able to play the ball to, if Fofana was there, Colwill could play the ball to Fofana and Fofana would carry the ball. Now look at this instant here. Look at the position that Wesley Fofana is looking to pick up. Chelsea have both Lavia and Caicedo in those deeper positions. But you can see here that Chelsea are looking to try and create overloads. In that, even when Lavia is there, this because of Fofana's recovery pace, we're even seeing Cucurella pushing forward, looking to sit tight. Now look at this position here that you're finding. Because Chelsea are afraid and they know that they do not have the recovery pace of Fofana, they are unable to push their line higher up so that they can commit a lot of players in attack, because Chalobah is not quite great when it comes to ball recovery. And because of this situation that we find ourselves in, whenever the opponent won the ball and looked to transition against Chelsea, and they looked especially to play balls in behind, similar to the ball that Mitoma actually scored, you would trust the 1v1 duel ability of Fofana to win that ball. Because Fofana is one of the best 1v1 defenders at Chelsea. And we saw this time and time again whenever Chelsea were looking to actually build with Wesley Fofana in this kind of situation. And once he actually builds with the ball, he's able to create that passing option where players like Fernandes can look to play back and continue with the ball. Now, this takes me to the most important thing that Wesley Fofana gave Chelsea, and I'm going to explain this. And this is the ability to press aggressively high. The high press is something that Chelsea have used this season. That's why their passes per defensive action was very high. Now, Chelsea using this high press needed to utilize the strength of an aggressive high line, with their forwards going man-to-man, their midfielders going man-to-man in midfield, and their wing-backs and their full-backs going to man-to-man. But look at this scenario here when Chelsea are pressing. A lot of these midfielders are not going man-to-man, and they are allowing Manchester City's midfielders to have that space. And why is this the case? Because nobody is being trusted to be the player who's able to cover. And even when Maresca decided to go man-to-man in the second half, you just saw how Haaland tore to shreds Trevor Chalobah and Levi Colwill, because they should have defended way better in that kind of scenario. But when Chelsea had Wesley Fofana, what we notice is that whenever the opponent decided that they want to go directly long, especially playing the ball towards the channel, what we will say is that Wesley Fofana would use his space, sprint back, and win that ball. So Wesley Fofana would make that run, win that ball, and either play the ball out for a throw-in or look to play the ball back to the goalkeeper and restart Chelsea's attack in this kind of scenario. And even when the opponent decided to drop their number 9 deeper, we will see Fofana dropping so deep, looking to win the ball off the defender and immediately look to progress, allowing Colwill not to step out to those duels, because we have seen Colwill losing those 1v1 duels. But Fofana was so aggressive and he looked to win them. And you can even see from these clips, opponents are trying to make that run. Look at how Fofana has stepped up and won the ball. Here again, Fofana is the aggressive centre-back who's making those blocks. You can see what he's doing. He's very aggressive. He knows when to step out and when to win those balls. Again here, we can see Chelsea are looking to build from the back. Look at the position that Fofana is occupying, and he's the one. Fofana is there to cover. Here again, Fofana is there to cover and ready to stop Chelsea from doing it. Because of Fofana's aggression and his ability to progress, this gave Chelsea that element to beat most opposition press. We have seen Chelsea struggling to beat opposition press recently, and even saw it against Brighton. And this is because Chelsea lacked a centre-back who's very aggressive. Look at the way he steps out to win those duels. Look at his recovery pace. This is something that Chelsea are lacking at the team. His ability to actually dribble, receive the ball, and know when to progress and when to hold the ball. Look at Fofana, winning and cutting those passing lanes. Look at him shielding the ball. Look at Wesley Fofana winning those aerial duels against the best centre-backs in the league. Are you coming to agree with me that Chelsea really lost a lot when they lost one of their best centre-backs in the team? In my opinion, I believe so. And so I have come to the conclusion that the injury crisis at Chelsea has left Chelsea in the situation they are in. Next up, I'm going to talk about Romeo Lavia, and I'm going to talk about how the missing of Romeo Lavia has also weakened Chelsea. Because of Fofana's athleticism, because of Fofana's ability to step out and launch into tackles and look to use his recovery pace, Chelsea have now had to drop their intensity without the ball. And because they like a centre-back who's very aggressive with the recovery pace to do that, Chelsea are now forced to drop deep whenever they lose the ball, and this leaves them disoriented and even to a point where they get fatigued because they constantly drop deep rather than engaging in a full throttle press whenever they lose the ball. What do you think? Do you agree with me in this kind of scenario? Leave your comments in the comment section area below, and thanks for watching.